Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Danvers Historical Society. We hope you enjoyed today's virtual speaker series. Please be sure to visit our website, www.danvershistory.org, to find out details about our upcoming virtual events and programs. We truly appreciate everyone's support, help, and teamwork in making these virtual events possible. We want to thank our speakers, DCAT, our volunteers, members, and trustees. We hope you enjoyed today's lecture. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Dave McKenna. I'm the current president of the Danvers Historical Society. I want to welcome you all to Tapley Hall for what should be a very interesting presentation this evening. Tom Boudrow, Director of Outreach, Communications, and Business Development at New England Homes for the Deaf. New England Homes for the Deaf, founded in 1901, is a life plan community that offers a continuum of care to deaf, blind, and hard of hearing seniors, including independent living, rest home, skilled nursing community, deaf senior centers, short-term rehabilitation services, respite care services, and hospice care. The New England Homes for the Deaf's mission is to provide long-term health care, housing, recreational activities, and social support for deaf, blind, and hard of hearing individuals in an accessible, barrier-free, and culturally sensitive environment with optimal communication and architectural resources. Welcome, Tom. Love to hear your presentation. Thank you.
With an introduction like that, I have nothing left to say. But anyway, I want to thank the Historic Society for having me here today. I'm very excited to share information about the home. You know, I've been involved in the home for 35 years. And I can tell you, over those 35 years, we've always said we're the best kept secret in Danvers. The only problem is we didn't want to be a secret. So I was so excited to get this invitation because it just so happened to be, it's the same time as I start going through all the history stuff that we have. And I realized the history I have, there will be some minor tweaks to it. So don't hold me accountable if I'm a year from 100 years ago, all right? If that's the case, then we can move on. So the next slide, I wanted to talk a little bit about, beautiful, thank you. Thought I would introduce myself. So first, I became deaf when I was 9 years old. I could hear before, which is why I speak, because I've heard sound. But at 9 years old, unfortunately, I lost my hearing due to a doctor's error. But I'm still here today, so. I have 2 children, and I have 1 granddaughter, which is the highlight of my life. Oh my God. I mean, yesterday I visited her, she wouldn't let me leave. She said, no, Papa, no. Oh, I love her. I've served the one organization, Women Home for the Deaf Board, for 29 years. I was asked to step down and take a position there 5 years ago. So as difficult of a decision as it was, I decided maybe I could serve more being on the ground floor. So that's what got me here today. My past experience, which I think helped qualify me for the job. I was the executive director of the State Association for the Deaf for 14 years. I left that position, became a marketing director for people with disabilities at the Verizon Center for Customers with Disabilities. All disabilities, not just deaf. Very challenging, rewarding position. I believe everyone has their own challenges, whether you have a disability or not. So, it was a very rewarding position. And from there, I ended up where I am today. My position has too many titles to mention, so you can read about it. All right? And over my sensitive keyboard, don't blame me. I've done many presentations, and I realize many people have a misconcept of what a disability is. So I normally would ask people, don't worry, no one's gonna guess. I'm gonna give you the answer. But I would ask people what a disability is. And I would hear so many things. You know, the inability to do this, the inability to do that, when you do things different than someone. Really, they're all right. But I like to actually define a disability when the person and the environment don't match. So when you think about it for a minute, I'm deaf. I can't hear nothing at all. But I have two interpreters here today. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a disability. I can communicate with all of you just like you communicate with each other. That's the purpose of the home. When you think about it, we have a home for the deaf. Our goal is to provide cultural awareness, communication access to all of our residents who are deaf. Okay, so when you think about that throughout the course of the presentation today, makes you realize why we're there in the first place. We basically provide three different services. We have a nursing home. Now the nursing home is broken into three different areas. We have skilled nursing. That's for people who need medical attention around the clock. We have assisted living. People function independently, but they need some help. Then we offer rehab services. Someone hurts themselves, they need physical therapy, we provide that. Again, all of this is provided in a friendly environment that's cultural, communication accessible, which help people. Because when you think about it, if anyone here went to a nursing home and you couldn't communicate with anybody there, it would be very difficult, very frustrating. So, are we perfect? No, but we try. We get better every day. So having said that, I wanted to relate the three main parts. Now, we also have independent living building, which is a separate building. It's called the Thompson House. Thompson House, you will see in my presentation when it was founded, why it was named the Thompson House, things like that. But I just wanted you to realize, so you have three in the nursing home. Independent living, and you will hear, I'm sure people in Denver have heard the newspaper about future development possibilities. So we're excited about that too. We're gonna become a whole community. So hopefully everyone here is gonna be a part of that. So having said that, I'm gonna move on. I will permit questions at the end. If anyone has a dying question, just raise the hand. I might say no, but don't worry about it. All right. So now the history of NEHD. I do, as I said earlier, some little changes. 1901, maybe it was 1902, January. I'm working on it. But basically, 1901, Father Stanley, he met with a group of people who realized that deaf people had nowhere to go to be taken care of. By taking care of, that means you have to communicate with them. Deaf people were put in different places with no communication access. They became angry and frustrated, doing more harm than good. So at that time, the group decided to set up a nursing home for deaf people. By deaf, I mean deaf, hard of hearing, deaf, blind, all of them. So in 1901, the idea was created. I didn't touch anything. Okay. So here's one of the pictures. We believe that was before we had a location, we would go places and help, because we didn't have a nursing home yet. But there were people out in the community we wanted to help them. So that was this picture we believe is. We're looking into more pictures. Work improved. Okay. January around 1903, we incorporated ourselves. We became a legal organization. The name was New England Home for the Deaf Mutes. Now I want to address that point right now, okay? Back then, deaf people, because many didn't talk, they were considered mute. But the word talk, it can be done in a lot of different ways. For example, I could talk with my hands. I'm not mute. Over the years, that became a negative term to use. So the board voted to change the name, New England Home for the Deaf. That's the first problem I encountered, looking for history and stuff. I kept looking for New England Home for the Deaf. But no, there was a different name 100 years ago. So I'm learning the hard way. Yeah. As it says here, in 2003, we hired one staff person. I said 2003, 1903. Fast forwarding, sorry. Anyway, 1903, we started serving people. I saw a picture of the first 6 people. They were all men. I don't know why. It had nothing to do with it, just for the record, okay? But we realized the need for our own space. So right now, in the summer of 1905, we raised enough money to get a space. This was a property we purchased. It was in April. And I actually Googled it. It's still there. I mean, I would love to visit it. I wonder what's there, any history in the basement or anything. I don't know. But during this time, the numbers kept growing. So it was short-lived. Before you knew it, it was full to capacity, and we needed bigger space. Fast forward to June 1920. At this point out, we were actually trying to raise the money to purchase something bigger. Helen Keller and Ian Sullivan were instrumental in us raising money. I mean, I'm sure you've all heard of Helen Keller. Ian Sullivan, an incredible woman. And her involvement in the home made where we are now possible. Because in the 20th, which that says 24, I'm trying to get an exact date, because our 100th anniversary of purchasing that property is right around the corner. I'm hoping I didn't purchase it until 2025, 1925. I'm hoping, otherwise I missed it. But shh, I won't tell anybody. So again, I've been told the story of Helen Keller where she was involved in not only raising money to make the purchase of our current property possible, But she also negotiated with Mr. Husty, the person who owns the property. I think those of you who know where we're located, right across the street is a statue of him on a horse. I understand he's buried there. And part of his support over the years, we also agreed to maintain that area for him. He was probably one of the most influential funders in our history. Because not only did he sell us the property we currently are located at, but he sold it to us at half price, which made it possible. Okay. So, it says on June 1st, it was purchased. I don't know what me tell that. Okay, I'm not positive with that date. But, yeah, it talked about negotiating and how the family, basically what I said, I might have been ahead of this. So, over here, what was nice, I just added that. As I mentioned, he was a big supporter of ours. In 1954, the current property we have, he donated additional land. One of the projects I have, I'm trying to get a layout of our entire property and find out when we got this part, and so on. Because it would be nice to know, is the new building on the property he donated in 54 or somewhere else? I don't know that information yet, but I'm excited to find it. You'll have to invite me back in a year with more details. So the old building, that's what we call it, it's a big brick building that currently is condos right now. During that time, there was a stone barn in the back of it. And that became Salem Hall, which everyone who's deaf in Massachusetts knows about it. It was a social club. And back in 1920s, totally different from today. I mean, can anyone not imagine having a cell phone? Not imagine having the internet? I mean, most of you were like, what? No, that never happened. Trust me, it happened a long time ago. So, the additional building in that picture was added later, which is why it's a little bit different. But that's because, again, we kept on growing. And I believe that addition was 6 more rooms. I'm not sure. I remember I was here when we had that building, but I believe it was 6 more rooms. That eventually grew to a total of 29 rooms. Well, actually, I should say 29 beds. This was just a picture I thought I would share, because I mentioned the original picture was all men. So I want to have some balance. 1950. That is right in front of the building. Okay. If I'm going too fast, yep.
Could I ask, was it always men and women, or what was the breakdown and also ages?
I don't know. Have to ask a question I don't know. Thank the Lord. Actually, to the best of my knowledge, it was always mixed. Yes, in terms of the average age, it's always changed over time. We don't have restrictions right now, to the best of my knowledge. If someone was 50 and needed help, we would take them. But we also have people that are 90. So very wide age. I think right now the youngest person we have is about 50. Yeah, so most of them 70, 80, 90. But I will get an average for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so one thing we believed in, helping the community have gatherings, because not everyone was going to live in a nursing home. There were many deaf people out in the community. And there was a lot of frustration, because back in the 60s, interpreters were unheard of. I mean, I have interpreters here tonight, so I can't be part of this. But in 1960, finding an interpreter, I don't even think the licensing board of interpreters existed in 1960. It was a whole different world. So what deaf people like to do, get together and they have social. They would talk. They used to get together at different senior centers. I'm going to talk about the senior centers. The point is, they would get together and watch captioned movies. Okay, nowadays that doesn't happen anymore because everything on TV is captioned. So you don't have to drive across the state to watch a captioned movie. You can sit at home, sit on the couch, have a beer, whatever you want, and watch a captioned movie. And the wonderful thing of that is, you will find some people in the deaf community complaining it was hurting the culture. Because before the culture was based on getting together, socializing, talking, seeing my friends. That doesn't happen that much now. It happens, but differently. For example, I'm sure you've all used Zoom, right? Now you can call your grandkids from across the country and you see them. That's what deaf people do now. They have different types of technology similar to video phones. They're very popular today. But Zoom, all kinds of visual communication, that's the thing today. So socialization has gotten less and less. I thought this was an interesting picture. In the 70s and 80s, the man in the middle, his name is Eddie. He is a deaf gentleman. He was the first deaf executive director in NEHD's history. Okay. Back then, really, the home only was assisted living. It wasn't skilled nursing. The requirements for assisted living and skilled nursing are totally different. So back then, that's what we had. Eddie ran it probably for 15, 20 years. Then he moved on. So now part of the 90s, some of you may remember American Act, the older American Act, which formed Council on Agents. I mean, today, I believe almost every town has a Council on Agents. As wonderful as they are, they were not accessible for deaf people. You would have one deaf person from one town go to the Council on Agents. No interpreting services, no socialization, they stopped going. So at that time, what we did, we formed deaf senior centers. Some of them were in Council on Aging offices, but it was a separate group. We started with 5. At one time, we grew to 7. Now, really, there's 2. Technology changed the world today. I think most of us would argue for the better. But there are some people who like 1950 better than they do today. I'm sure we all like the price of gas a lot better in 1950. Price of food, I mean, I could go on, but you know what I mean. Okay, want to make sure I touch up on everything. There's not more of them. Oh. It's okay, don't panic. It's okay. What did I do?
Should be okay now.
Beautiful. All right. It's all taken care of. Moving forward to the 90s. All right. At the time when Eddie was the executive director, he was fortunate enough to have an assistant director named Judith. Judith was a coder. She was a parent of a deaf child. And she was very interested in the home. To a point, she eventually became the next executive director. Judith found she could communicate with all the residents. And her passion was really there. So during the 90s, at the same time we were thinking more about additional housing. Dr. Thompson, who remember I mentioned the Thompson House, it was named after this guy. Wonderful person. I've had the privilege to get very close to him. He holds a place deep in my heart. Well, he became the first deaf president. He actually appointed me to the board, 1991. And at that time, as I mentioned, the more expansion, we wanted to create independent living housing. That led to our next development. I'm sure you're familiar with what's called the Thompson House, again, named after Dr. Thompson. This is 24 apartment, 1 bedroom, independent living. It was built in '97. HUD funded it. And all 24 apartments are filled today with all deaf people. As a matter of fact, not only deaf people, but deaf blind people. So when you think about it, deaf blind people have a lot of challenges. And we're so happy to be able to put them in a place that's safe. They can walk around the house, and if they run into anyone, everyone knows how to communicate with them. If they were ever somewhere else, and they ran into a person who couldn't find, there would be no communication. So we're blessed to have a building like that on our property right now. But as mentioned, that's from 1997. Now again, while this is being built, we're seeing all this beautiful new buildings, new properties, and we're still housing the whole building. The building we bought in the 1920s was built, I believe, in late 1800s. Beautiful woodwork. But state of the art for a nursing home. So at that time, what we did, we were going to remodel it. And I remember the discussions we had. We talked about changing it. There was no elevator. The stairways were like this wide, so people who needed wheelchairs could live there. And the price of remodeling it went from $4 million to $5 million to $6 million. And then we said, wait a minute, maybe we're going about this long. Maybe it would be better to just build a whole new building. I'm sorry. Maybe it would be better to just build a whole new building. In 2004, that's what we did. Now, one of the nice additions to this building is up till 2004, we only offered assisted living. So the people who lived there had to have some capacity of taking care of themselves. They needed to be able to get dressed, they needed to be able to bath themselves. But we found that wasn't what was happening. Many of the people were getting older. I mean, we've had people living in the old building for 30 years, and their ability changed. But what did you do? We didn't really have the means to take care of them. And we couldn't, after living in a home with communication access, ship them off to a home. We couldn't do that. So the board, using Jack Donovan, a board member before, quote, he said, Tom, we're gonna bet the farm. And we bet the farm. It was a lot of money. Originally, this plan was for 7.2 million. I'm obsessed with that number. It ended up being complete closer to 11 million. So, as Jack said, we bet the farm. But fortunately, it worked. It got full, well, not full, but the population we opened was 29. It had the ability to house 81. So we had a lot of empty beds. Empty beds are a challenge today. I mean, I'm sure you hear about, I think, 7 nursing homes in the last month closed because they couldn't fill their beds. Fortunately, we're doing okay. I mean, I'm not saying great, we're not rich. I'm still asking for a company car, but the gym keeps saying no. But, so I had to do it. So today, we have 67 residents. Now, what's interesting? I mentioned we have 2 different levels, assisted living and skilled nursing. Skilled nursing is 30 licenses. We're full. Fourth floor, assisted living, we have 37. But we have a license for 51. So we have room. What happened today? More and more people are trying to keep their loved ones home. So the assisted living isn't as popular as it used to be. People will settle until they reach a point they need skilled nursing. And then we only had 30 because when we built it, the demand was the other way around. Today, we do have a short waiting list for skilled nursing. We're working on it once again. The board rolling up the sleeve, thinking about maybe converting some of the beds in the skilled nursing, but from the assisted living to skilled nursing. I mean, it sounds easy. I'm glad I'm not on the board anymore. So it's a big job. So, of our 67 residents, 12 are deafblind. Now, you know, just to give you an idea what kind of an impact that is. If everybody here was deaf, we have one interpreter interpreting. That's fine, it works for everybody. Now, if all of you were deafblind, each one of you would need 2 interpreters. So when you think about that, finding 20, 30 interpreters, not to mention the cost, but it's hard to find that many. So that was a challenge, but right now we're at 12, and I don't doubt in the next few years those numbers are going to grow. So Helen Keller, I think she knew that. I think when she helped us set this up, I think she had a sense deaf-blind people are going to really need this in the future. I think the other important thing is technology. For example, okay, I can't hear nothing. If you come to my house and you ring my doorbell, you're going to be standing there for a long time. I mean, I'm not saying that's by design, I'm just saying that's what happens. But thanks to technology, you have a light go off, or you have a pager that vibrates. So I know someone at the door. I know fire alarm going off. I know all different types of alarms. Even deaf-blind people, we provide them with like a pager. And there's all different tones. Like when I say tone, probably the wrong word. The vibration, fast means this. Slow means this. Hard means this. It's amazing what people do today. I mean, of our deaf-blind residents, many of them are so independent. They navigate the building so good. We've trained them, but they're independent. There's no reason they can't be. All we want is them to be safe. If they want to go from the second floor to downstairs, the cafeteria, let them go. You can do it, why can't they? Safe and fine. Once in a while, they might be, wait a minute, where am I? And we will go over and remind them where they are, and they'll be fine. So that is a growing number. Now, with that, it creates challenges. Our needs are different now. One thing that really was very emotional for me over my time there, nursing homes, at times people get ill. They have to be rushed to the hospital. And we're required to have a certain number of staff on the floor at all times. So if we send a deaf-blind person to the hospital, we can't send a staff person with them. And it's very sad to think about a deaf-blind person being put in an ambulance. And they get to the hospital, and the hospital is like, what do I do? How do I ask them anything? How do we even confirm their name? So what we did, well, we worked with the hospitals, first of all, to make sure they hire interpreters. We notify the hospital before we send them. So hopefully the interpreters will be there before they even arrive. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. At no fault to anyone, it's just a supply and demand issue. So what we recently added was what we call a companion program. And what that is we would have people on call. So God forbid, we had to send someone to the hospital. This person who would be skilled, fine, we would let them know we're sending Bob to the hospital. And they would immediately leave. They would meet them at the hospital. Now their job wasn't to interpret for them. Their job was to keep them company. Oh, so you're not feeling good? Okay, well the doctor's coming. Just talk to them, because if you have someone sitting in the hall, in the bed, 1 hour by themselves, your mind starts to do crazy things for yourself. Not to mention how depressing and upsetting it is. Well, the board didn't like it. I didn't like it. So we recently, about 6 months ago, started offering that. It was made possible thanks to the Cumming Foundation. The Cumming Foundation has been a huge support of us. And in the course of our annual meeting, I talked to them about the need for doing that. And I told them that we have to have that service. I gave them some stories, like we had a deafblind woman. Unfortunately, she was sent to the hospital, and her interpreter wasn't available, so she had to wait several hours. Now think about it, in the course of that, she needed to go to the bathroom. She couldn't tell anybody. So she wet herself. I mean, that's humiliating. Or because she couldn't tell her nurse, I need to go to the bathroom. I told that story to Cummins. They showed up maybe 30 days later with a very beautiful check. And now that's a reality. So again, I wanted to be sure I mentioned Cummins because it wouldn't be possible without them.
Well,
Yep.
can I just, because this is the main reason I really asked if you could come tonight. I believe you told me you're the only facility in the United States that cares for deaf and blind people. We always said during the daily disclosure.
We're the only one in the country that 100% that's offering all of the services. Some of them are for one, but not the other.
Right.
We were the first, and really, I believe we're still the only one.
We were always told when the explosion happened that we're the only one on east of Mississippi that did this kind of treatment. And I also wanted to share just a moment.
Yeah.
If you're both deaf and blind, the interpreter interprets on your hand, as you probably know. I didn't know this. And if you've ever met anyone that lives this way on the street, their emotions are so raw, you can't possibly believe how they just sit and unbelievably, every word, the emotion is all over their body, not just their face. And to see that and witness it firsthand is just something you would never ever forget. And the other thing is, if you were to go into this facility and see the lights and the pages, and because not everybody is totally blind, not everybody's totally deaf, and there's lights and everything, and it's truly amazing what Tom says, to see these folks meander around the building and come out and know that they have every right to walk the streets and be part of the community and have this. And without it, it's an extremely, extremely lonely life. So it's a very special place that we have here in Davis that's unique to us. And truly, for Tom's words, it is the biggest secret in our town. You could live their entire life and have no idea what's inside that building. And
Yeah.
it's truly amazing.
I said before, we were the best kept secret. Hopefully, they're gonna pass us on to 5 more people. We got about 30 people, you pass it on to 5, that's 150, and then pass it on to 5, and so and so. So I'm counting on you, you have homework. All right. So moving on. Now, I just thought I wanted to share some things about Helen Keller. You know, in the process of doing this, if you ever Google quotes by Helen Keller, what an incredible woman. So optimistic, regardless of the challenges she faced. Incredible woman. I mean, I didn't know she was the first deaf-blind person to graduate with a college degree. I didn't know that. Today, I believe half of our deaf-blind residents have college degrees. She was nominated for a Peace Prize. I mean, wow, what an accomplishment. I'm still waiting for mine. But, and In 1999, she was listed as one of the most influential figures in the 20th century. And she was defined and accomplished all those things. So when people talk about, oh, you have a disability, you can't do that, well, think about it for a minute, you won't be saying that anymore. I found that. And you know, I'm guilty of that. I bet if we're all honest, we're all guilty of that. People think about some of the feelings like, oh, this didn't happen today. But we need to start thinking about tomorrow. Today's over, you can't change it. But tomorrow you can. I think the home right now, with a board of directors who I want to stress, they don't get paid on the board. Although every year we double their salary, but it goes from 0 to 00. But they contribute so much of their time. I mean, Steve, being chairman of the board, he's been involved for 25 years. And he's accomplished so much in his time. And his wife who has been by his side all the time. I mean, really, they both deserve so much thanks on behalf of the whole both of you. So I wanted to say that. Okay. Now, the future. I'm not planning to talk much about this, but I will answer any questions you ask if I can. This new building right here is the new proposed apartment complex. It will, at the moment, 112 apartments. And it will be made up of moderate income, normal income, different levels. I don't have all the details on that yet. But one thing I can tell you, it's part of our complex. I mean, you see that, you see right here, NEHD. Technology, sorry. Thank you. Okay, that's the home. That's the Thompson House. This is condo that was the old building. Now, Ted mentioned about an explosion that happened some years ago. I'm sure you've all heard of that. When the explosion happened, I believe it was 2006, because we just moved into the new building. The old building was empty. But that explosion, which happened across the roof, was so powerful that it blew out over 100 windows in the new building. In the new building, it blew over 100 windows. Why we were so blessed is that happened that night, and all the residents were laying down in their bed. So the glass blew right over them. Not one person was cut. So we were blessed with that. Of course, it meant we had to empty the building. We had to relocate all these people. I believe there were 5 nursing homes involved in taking our residents. So our staff was sent over there to help with communication access, taking care of them properly. It was a horrible occasion. Hopefully we'll never experience it again. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention it. Ted brought it up, so I thought, why not blame Ted if you didn't like it? All right, so again, that's the future. I think one thing exciting about it, we're partnering with a company called WIN. A big company, they know buildings. And their passion to ensure that the people who live there, which will be both deaf and hearing, but they can interact with each other. They're already talking to us about planning different types of classes, cultural classes, so people understand their neighbor. Communication classes, so they can communicate. Accessible features throughout the building. I mean, that's exciting. I think it kind of completes the full circle here. This is a little village that has everything. Deaf, blind, hard of hearing people. We are on this earth together. Why don't we make the best of it? So that's yet to come. I believe maybe 2 years away. But again, maybe Ted knows better than I do. I'm not sure. But on that note, I would like to open up for any questions you may have. That concludes my presentation. Any thoughts? Oh, did I answer all your questions? Yes?
I have a thought on how you support yourselves. I assume you get grants and donations. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Very challenging. However, to answer that, our residents have Medicare and Medicaid, so they pay the daily cost of a nursing home per individual. We definitely do fundraising. I mean, July 29th, we have a golf tournament. That's a big fundraiser for us. I invite everybody in this room, come play golf. I think we got a golf over there. Oh yeah, we have 2 golfers. I got 2 assists. Okay. But that has been so big for us. I mean, this is the 20th anniversary of our first golf tournament. Steve has cheered all 20. He said he's going to do 20 more. However, I'm safe up here. But that has raised $500,000 for us. So those kind of things, we write grants, like Cummings Foundation. Any way we can find the money. I think survival today is very challenging because unfortunately, the state doesn't always give you enough money, especially for a deaf nursing home. Because when you think about it, if a nursing home was addressing a hearing person, they're gonna come over to you and they're gonna say, oh, okay, I'm gonna give you your medicine right now. It's whatever it is, and they would tell you. I don't know, 15 seconds. For a deaf person, it takes a lot longer. Deaf blind person, even longer. You have to stop what you're doing, free your hand, you have to go over to them, tap them, get their attention, explain who you are, explain what you're there for. Takes a lot more time. So we over the years have asked the state to recognize that. We've had a little success. Not enough to make me happy. But there was one time we were so difficult. I recall I was on the board at the time. We went to the state and we asked for the support. I remember sitting in a room, 20 different officers were there. And they basically shut us down right on the spot. Said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I took a big gamble. I think I'm still sweating when I think about it. I said to them, okay, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I suggest we change this meeting right now to discuss how are we going to relocate these 60 residents. They said, what are you talking about? I said, you just said you couldn't support us. We're going to run out of money in a matter of months. So if you can't help us, we'll help you relocate them. But just be aware, we're asking you for more money. They're going to have 20 nursing homes around the state asking you for more money now. You sure you want to do that? They gave us more money. Well, oh no, don't do it. But it worked. Again, we need more. Because, as I said, the number of deaf-blind people is growing. and we want to offer the best service. It's not about just offering access. We want to be the best. And me for one, every time we accomplish a goal, I move it out. So we never do it. That's what I was saying earlier. So I don't take time to say, well, we've accomplished this. I don't think any of us do, because we always keep moving the barrel. And we can do that. I think right now, the approach is letting you know what we're doing. I mean, I invite you, or maybe when I get more history stuff, we'll do this again. But maybe this time, we'll do it after. I can give you a tour or two. So, keep that in mind. Answer your question?
It does.
I know a long-winded answer. Any other questions?
Does the home have any kind of museum or history?
Answer the question. Not yet. It's funny you say that because I was telling Laura, I just started going through some history stuff. It's overwhelming. I mean, the number of boxes to go through, wow. But we realize we've been here for 120 years. We have no history, documented, posted, done. We need to do that. We will do that. Just take some time. What else?
How long is your waiting list?
On the first floor, there is no waiting list. On the first floor, we have beds available today. The second floor, you know, it changes. Because, for example, sometimes people are on the second floor needing more care because they're going through rehab. Maybe they fell down, they broke their hip. So we move them to the second floor. But when they get better, we move them back to the first floor, and that opens the bed for the second floor. It could be anywhere from 1 month to, God, I don't know. I mean, whatever I say is going to be different. So I probably varies. Depends on the person's needs. Try a group.
Great presentation, thank you. I'm so excited that this program is taking place, and I too am in this new soccer fan. And I'm wondering, do you ever have conversation among board, residents, staff, about how you might, or people might want to connect with Danvers as a town? Do residents feel fully a part of this town, or not?
You know, I can answer that, but see if you could add. Personally, if there's any separation, it's not by our choice. I think an average person, if you see a deaf person walking down the street, and you know that you might feel uncomfortable to go talk to them, thinking they're not going to hear you. Human nature, okay? But personally, I know our goal is 4%. Our goal is to let you know, hey, what's the big deal so we can hear. The worst thing that could happen, you might have to write it down. I mean, recently I went to order some things at the store, and the person would gesture. It's like, wow, it really helped. Now, if you want to go back a few years, COVID, all right, expressions say a lot. Someone smiles, someone's angry, you see it. But you put a mask on some, oh my God, now I'm really deaf. And it was so frustrating because I would back up, say, I'm sorry, I can't hear. Could you lower your mask so I could lip read you? They say no. Okay. Nice trying to talk to you, but I mean, as crazy as it sounds, it happens. So COVID was an incredible challenge. All the residents were frustrated. So we hired a new nurse who didn't really have the skills to sign it. How do they communicate? It's like, they'll go get somebody. Big challenge, but in terms of the town, we really want this. We're hoping it's a kick. We need your support. We need everybody in this room. We're more than happy to go anywhere and brag about ourselves because we have a lot to brag about.
I know Davis Library has, I think, received a grant. I can't tell you too many details about it, but they received a grant to assist hearing impaired people. So hopefully, I don't know if they'll be working with facilities such as yours or with people that come into the library, but hopefully that will help them to become members of our community.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, it's funny you bring that up because I was contacted by them. They were asking me, what type of technology should they spend that money on? And to be honest, unfortunately, I haven't been in the library in a long time. So I don't know how much assistance like this. But there's a lot of different technology out there. I mean, a side story that kind of answers that. I used to work with a blind individual. Now, he could hear. And I found it challenging communicating with them because blind people, not all, I'm not going to generalize, but some of them, they don't realize like what a smile is. They don't see themselves. So for a long time, I had a difficult time talking to him. But at the same time, this guy knew computers better than anyone in the room. Believe it or not, we used to use him to do proofreading. Now when you think about it, how does a blind person proofread? They have a wonderful piece of technology called the screen reader. The screen reader would audio speak the letters they have on the computer. Now if the screen reader mispronounced the word, it's spelled wrong. That's how they know. So they used to correct all the letters for everybody. So everyone brings something different to the table. All of our job to find that skill that they possess and use it. If I'm not good shoveling snow, don't ask me to shovel snow. I may be bad, you know what I mean? Use people's strength. Okay, yep.
Back to Sally's question for a second. Many of our residents do interact in the town. Those who are old, some are not able to get out, but many can. Particularly our Thompson House residents, they're independent, some still drive. They go bowling next door. They go to the movies in the Woodtree Mall, where once a week they offer captioned movies, just for the local deaf population. And another thing that you'd be interested in, they all vote. Involves the community as much as they can.
Steve, can you speak up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said they will vote.
They all vote.
Good to know.
Good point. Thank you. I kept focusing on the homeowner, the Thompson House. Thank you. Ted.
I also have to add, Steve, because I grew up in this neighborhood. The one advantage of the exposure is there's now a Dunkin' Donuts next door. And they walk to Dunkin' Donuts. And I see them often. And I'm stuck in that situation of not knowing what to do, except I just want to buy them coffee. and that's the extent, because I really can't. But it's wonderful to see them, and to see them begin to have that. And if we
Good point about Dunkin' Donuts. I can tell you right now, if that place closes, we're gonna lose half our residents, half our staff. So, please.
Well, we're from a bakery to Dunkin' Donuts, if you don't know that. But Dunkin' Donuts is more affordable.
And well, I just want to remind everyone, I have different brochures. Please help me yourself. My business card is over there. If you ever want to talk to me, call me for any situations that you might be curious about, or want someone to come out and give a presentation, or you want to come visit us, want to get involved in a committee, wonderful. We welcome everyone. We've been on the board. We tend to start you a committee. We convince you this is the place to be. So please seriously think about it. We'd love more people from the Denver area, Jews, North of town. So
Golf tournament again?
guys, we tag all golfers. We sell mulligans so everyone will be fine. All right. So again, just want to thank you for having the opportunity to come here. I really enjoyed this. And I thank you for your interest in the home. And I truly help you become a supporter of ours and let people know about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with the Danvers Historical Society. Please be sure to visit our website to donate at www.danvershistory.org. Have a nice day.